Hello, Martin. Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I,
Fine.
uh,
We have met
I,
again. I think this is our second session. Thanks for taking out time.
yes, it is indeed.
How are things over there? You were telling me there's some elections happening at your area.
Yes, we had municipality elections here, and I have been quite active in promoting one of the parties.
Uh, you should stand as a participant itself.
Uh, yeah, but I think it is better to leave that to the younger ones, and that they have me as an advisor or something like that would be better.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have someone who has spent decades in data. And just for our audience, you have just recently retired.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you must be busy in data thing. So tell us about your retirement. Are you able to get yourself free or you got more busy and where you are involved nowadays?
Yeah, in order to have things to do, you start all kinds of stuff, and then
Yeah.
you have to. Soon you will have to cut back on all the things you started. So that is
Yeah.
where I'm right now, being careful about not doing more than I can consume.
So you are sticking yourself to data world or you want to leave data?
I'm not. It's impossible to leave data. That's
Yeah.
totally impossible. It you have to die for that. Until then, until then, data is being created about you. You have to worry about that. You have to worry about how it's understood, etc. So nothing changes in that sense.
You're absolutely right. Just like we are talking a language, it's not possible not to talk. Say same like with data. Corporate will always have a data. Any kind of data, it will always be there. Nobody can survive without it. If you don't use it, you will die, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, coming back to our topic, right? It'll be fun, right, today because you are a veteran of data. So, what kind of data are fit for AI and what can be done to make the data fit for others? That's what our topic is today. And
Yeah.
tell us about this topic, why you selected this topic, what is the background, and then we go into the long journey.
Well, we in the recent, in the last 2 years,
Mhm.
actually, maybe three, we see a real ramp up of uh, claims that AI could solve everything, and that worries me a lot because any algorithm will use what it gets in terms of data, and the way we view data is essential for the algorithm, or the way we represent the data is essential for the algorithm to the conclusions the algorithm will make. And we can, the simplest things we can view in several ways depending on who we are and what our background is.
Mm.
And that is highly underestimated uh, by everyone.
Yeah. So what are trends happening? Because we have seen that AI is really struggling because of the quality of data. I
Yeah,
think AI is vaster than what generative AI is because AI really become a norm or a daily buzzword on everybody's uh, tongue, I would say. When
yeah,
generative AI came in, when Chat GPT came in, actually, right?
yeah,
That is where people started thinking, okay, this is AI.
yeah,
In a non-data science world. Otherwise, AI was restricted to data science world, right? So
yeah,
non-data science were not aware of AI. They were just thinking AI equal to robotics. That is where AI used to have their presence. But since ChatGPT came in, everybody want to jump into generative AI, and that is where data quality start coming in. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually, before that, already data quality was a huge problem
Yeah.
because the whole idea of analytic AI, I would call it, um, is that you use data points, so stuff that is in a tabular format,
Mhm.
and that you do advanced statistics on it to come to a conclusion first, and then you have the possibility to use that for a prediction
Mhm.
or for a prescription, so to say what should be done. That's all quite okay if you fully understand the data in your system,
Mhm.
in your tabular formats. But what we see ever so often is that specifically data scientists, as clever as they have the necessity to deliver very soon, usually. And in the race to deliver, they go around the real understanding of what they are using
Yeah.
uh, for their analysis. And that is an essential step. If you don't do that, if you don't really understand what your data is telling you and what the limits are of what the data is telling you, then you will make a mess,
Mhm.
even in tabular data. And what we always have to be clear about is that uh, all data is very much time bound, but a lot of, at least the meaning of the data is time bound. Um, that is true in terms of uh, is it still the situation we are researching? Is that the same? If you have a factory and you have totally simple measurements a temperature in the factory somewhere, then even a new calibration of your thermometer can change the meaning of your data. And maybe you're not aware, or someone left open a door and there is a draft over the location of the thermometer.
Mhm.
It's as simple and as tiny as that. So knowing your data involves a lot more than knowing that it is the temperature of that ascribed thermometer, because it can be noted that this is the thermometer at a certain location. But if the thermometer itself has been removed and or replaced, there is a possibility that the whole measurement is completely different, more
Mhm.
precise, less precise, etc. Or it moved a little bit, even that is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned this, you are referring to the context, right? And you
And
are absolutely right. When data scientists are working on data models, machine learning models, which
yeah,
are, of course, we all know, are made of combination of algorithms, right?
yeah,
And those algorithms will normally behaves based on the type of data goes in those algorithms. And
yeah,
and we all know that for last half a decade, we have been hearing from data scientists that 80% of their job is data engineering, right? And data engineering is a different beast. We all know that. When we talk
absolutely.
about context, a same kind of pipeline can have different meaning for different context of the data. A human can be an employee, it can be a loan taker, it can be an insurance person. In the same organization, one human can have a different definition, even employee can have a different context. So you're absolutely right, data quality was way there. But I think as everybody is saying that AI is amplifying the the issues which was hidden under the carpet. Last time you get away from it, but now it is multiplied by 100. Now you cannot run away from data quality. But tell us what people are doing about data quality, right? For AI, because data has to be ready for AI. What steps one should take? What steps people are taking in your point of view?
Yeah, let's start with way too few.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a serious problem. And then there is the problem that an LLM requires a completely different way of preparing data than an analytic AI, and actually they could help each other in the sense that an LLM could be used, and probably even is being used already here or there. We have a few examples. Bill Inman is working on something like that, and John Cook is working on something like that. I know
Yeah.
those two that they are doing that. They are trying to extract a kind of taxonomy, a kind of ontology by using an LLM type of logic from data. That is hugely interesting. And it is the LLM that helps to make data tabular, which makes it usable, technically usable for analytic AI. And the other way around, if you would use documentation plus tabular data to create a story that an LLM could write, then the LLM could use the story, after checking, of course, to make it usable for make tabular data usable for LLMs. So there are possibilities there that are
Mm.
quite interesting.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So Inmon, just for a confirmation, Bill Inmon is working on text analytics actually. Uh, They are building a product out of it. They are
Yeah,
renaming it as a context analytics as well.
yeah,
And John is working on digital twin. So these guys are working great stuff into this area, right?
yeah.
Uh,
I wish I had money and time to research that deeper.
yeah, yeah, it needs a lot of resources. You're right. I think if
Yeah,
you want to do that, because I'm also very much into it, right? You know that. But you
yeah,
need a place, maybe in your region, you can connect with universities and get into the research centers. I
yeah,
think it's always a teamwork. You will
yeah,
need super cool developers, especially this new breed. We are very old. We are already still living in SQL world, right? We don't want to bypass SQL. People are
yeah,
saying, one of my website our kid have created with 5 years experience. It's an awesome website he has created in 2 3 hours. He
yeah,
used Claude, Vibe coding, and VS Code. So yes, uh, all ideas need to uh, develop, need to test actually. That is how
yeah.
things will move. So yeah, let's move further, right? When we talk about data fit for AI, another challenge comes about security and privacy. Not much security, but privacy is a big problem in AI world. Tell us about that, sir. What's your opinion about it?
Yeah, I would say privacy and intellectual property.
Intellectual property, correct.
Those are hugely under fire by LLMs. If you use an LLM, your data is out.
Hmm.
It's out on with the company that is hosting the LLM.
Hmm.
So what I see is that is hardly understood by the people who use LLMs, and they throw anything at it, which
Hmm.
is a huge risk because there is nothing as greedy as an LLM in terms of data.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Let me throw a question here, right? Because I do discuss with a lot of people and they have the same concern. I have a different angle to see into it. I personally think LLM. open LLM, of course, ChatGPT kind of stuff, they
Yeah.
don't absorb their data, your data, they absorb your context. I think they don't keep your personal information, but they do keep what you are researching. Am I right to think about it?
Yeah, but if I am researching based on documents that contain personal information, then that personal information flies out.
But don't they
And
ask it? Don't they anonymize it? Because if you are researching something over there, I don't think I can ask ChatGPT what Maarten is researching. It won't tell me, or it won't be able to tell me.
um, possibly not. But
All
if it
right.
isn't, that doesn't say that your data isn't out there.
Hmm.
The fact
Okay.
that you can't ask it is not a proof that the knowledge isn't out there. And for intellectual property, the issue is far bigger because that sounds like context all over. And
Hmm.
if you are researching some kind of chemistry or whatever, and you use your findings to write your article about it,
Hmm.
your findings are out in the open.
You're referring my monograph. Huh? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But at the same time, right, if that is the case, I personally believe Google keeps your more context as Google plus Facebook plus Twitter. If you are busy onto those social media, I think they can extract much better. I'm just comparing. They're also keeping all your context, what you are doing, right? And they
Yeah.
are way, way mature as compared to LLM. So there is no, I feel I'm being very optimistic because I want to use these technologies. I'm always
Me,
trying to find out a
me
way.
too, but I don't. I really. I'm afraid of using them.
No, see, that's what I'm saying that I'm very optimistic person and I'm finding and I'm trying to find out ways that it is safe, right? Although I'm not doing any confidential thing, but I have to research, right? So do you think that even let's say today we close LLM, do you think Google, while we are using all those, they do not know what we are doing?
Oh yes, because there are many other ways to scrape the internet, and
Yeah.
if you are moving around on the internet in any form or in any context, your stuff will be found. And actually, we know that even ChatGPT, if you ask it to take your documents and respond in your style,
Yeah.
ChatGPT will.
Yeah. Okay, let me throw one more question. What do you think if we are using cloud? Okay, let's go deeper. Let's go further. Let's become more pessimistic. Because I'm storing all my data on OneDrive. People are storing on the shared drive and in many other places, not on premises. If you're using any cloud store, which everybody is using, do we think that these companies are not extracting context from that data? For sure, they are.
Of course, and that is quite frightening, in my opinion.
So
And I
I'm keeping my document in OneDrive, and I say, okay, don't want to throw that document to an LLM because they will know. They already
yeah
know because you're
yeah
already using OneDrive. Is
yeah
my
that's true. That's true. And so keeping things really to yourself, for that you need a hard drive.
yeah.
Uh, and then there are a few next best solutions.
Hmm.
But if you use one of the big tech companies' environments, your data is out there. Period.
Hmm. That's very scary, right? Because not a lot of people know how to use external hard drive. For example, I have an external hard drive. It takes so much of a time to connect, to disconnect. It's not readily available for me. There are NAS out there, which is
Yeah.
quite expensive. You can put it on. again, okay, let's go further. If you are connected with the Wi-Fi, aren't there chances they are connected with your hard drive and extracting the context?
Uh, I think that is pretty hard, but yes, no. Getting so far depends on whether you have a good firewall on your
Mm.
laptop,
Mm.
uh, or you are using an environment that is relatively safe and hardly being hacked. But if you use Windows,
Yeah.
you're you're toast.
Yeah. So coming back to AI, data fit for AI, right? We
Yeah,
got a little bit distracted because of my
yeah,
my exploration.
yeah.
Okay,
But
right? So, okay, let's go back to the data fit for AI, right? Now, when we
yeah,
talk about data, when we go online and we bring data on any kind of AI tool, which can be DeepSeek, which can be OpenAI, which can be Gemini, Claude, anything. But then won't it be difficult for data scientists to even use AI? They will be going back to the Stone Age, writing their own machine learning models, right?
yes. As far as LLMs are concerned, that is true. For the analytical AI, it isn't.
Okay.
Um, so I believe well, we had analytical AI before the cloud was really used. So
Okay.
that has never been a problem in my view.
Mm.
Um, and you can easily do a lot more locally. Uh, 30 years ago, I was managing a network that
Mhm.
had no connection except through telephone, and it worked very, very safely.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't want to go back to 20 years back, right? Because there are demands. People are scared if they don't adopt and adapt to the new technology, they will become Nokia or Kodak.
Yeah, yeah. I know and I understand it, but a large part of what is happening can just as well, and in some cases far better, be done locally. At least if you have a company that could have a networked storage.
Mm. So it means we are going towards data foundation. You have to build a proper data foundation, either, and I have a correct architecture which connects to the internet at the right place, at the right time, whenever you need it, and when you need it, which kind of data you are exposing,
Yeah,
how long you are exposing, what you're throwing out, what you're bringing back in, right? So we
yeah,
are going towards data foundation.
yeah. And actually, most larger companies already are, or many are withdrawing from the cloud,
Yeah.
largely because for the transactional processes, it is not wise to have that on cloud. It's too expensive for that. And for the occasional special processes, they have their own process or procedures to get your data there if checked and needed.
You're
So
right. Standing
that is,
start come back.
yeah, it's already changing back in that sense,
Yeah.
and for good reasons. Yeah,
You're right. See, the moment I started working in cloud like 7 years back when I was working for a bank, and top management took a decision not to go into a cloud. And at that point in time, because I was a project manager and SME over there, I did some calculation. We came to know after 5 years, cloud become more expensive as compared to on-prem. And at that
exactly.
point in time, they took a decision to remain on premises. And after 7 years, they are way cheaper compared to their other vendors because they decided to stay on-prem, right?
Yeah, exactly. That is, and that is happening. quite a lot. And some companies, for good reasons, don't want to have all the IT personnel that is needed, but they also underestimate how much they are spending on uh, first cloud and then all the other small things that you need. If you have two clouds, you have hugely complex interfacing to deal with. But that's also a large diversion from from the subject of this.
This is absolutely we are in the right direction because I'm going towards agentic AI. When people say agentic AI are going to take away jobs, I don't think so. Because if company one is going into agentic AI and company two is not going into agentic AI, what will happen? Company AI agents will come and create more work, and company two is gone. And
Yeah, exactly. And whatever the agentic AI does, there needs to be some way to check
yeah,
whether it is valid, right, uh, preferred, etc. So you're not done by implementing agentic AI. By the way, agentic AI is an interesting case for this because LLMs and analytical AI are more or less combined often in agentic AI.
yeah.
You use the LLM to extract information, make it tabular actually, and then use that to do your analysis on it and use your model to respond to it. So that's an interesting part of it.
You're absolutely right, right? People think that agentic AI is all about LLM. It is not.
No,
It's only, I think in LLM, in agentic world is only to trigger something. And when the data comes out, it should convert that into a human language so you can have a easy way to chat. But I don't understand that. And I don't agree on it, by the way. I don't see LLMs taking over anything else because if you have a proper dashboard, right? If you're working in an organization, you have 5 KPIs on the dashboard. Why the hell you want chat to tell you what that, right? And you know that chat will hallucinate, right, as well. So better to
yeah,
have a dashboard, right?
yeah. And some time ago, I wrote a short part in an article of on LinkedIn about how difficult it is to have an outsider work on the data that you put in front of them. I used a picture for that. I have it available here, um, and what you get is that an LLM has all perspectives
Yeah.
and can therefore easily divert to things that you're totally not interested in for your organization. That's the better word, not company. It doesn't have to be a company. Your organization wants to know something about the weather and uses a picture for it. But
Mm.
on that same picture, there are also trees. There is water on it, and you can ask yourself what is the information that the LLM will find.
Mm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
that is where things go wrong with LLMs, where an analytical AI at least is confined
Yes.
to the situation you are really researching. If your data scientists do some pre formatting and selection of the right data, but an LLM does none of that.
Yeah, I normally call it LLM, an old guy who always also forgets, you go into a chat, after some time it forgets, it restart itself, it won't tell you, it will start giving you something else. I'm working on this monogram, right? You are reviewing, thanks for that. So I wrote this whole thing, 10 chapters myself. Then, of course, I gave it to ChatGPT to fix the grammar, to make the language correct, all those things I added, right? So, but the thing is, it was giving me a hell of a time because after every 2, 3 sections, it forgets the previous
Yeah,
section to the next section. It gives, it hallucinates something else. So I have to be very vigilant. I have to be very careful that what the hell I have to use sometime. My apologies, F word to the chat GPT. What the hell you are doing? Because what we were discussing up there, now you're changing the whole thing. Then I have to read. So the thing is, even if you, whatever you have written, you give it to chat GPT, it also forgets. So you
yeah.
cannot trust it. Okay. Again, AI.
And worse than that, it doesn't forget some things that it should. Because if you
Yeah.
let's go back to that thermometer I was talking about. As soon as that thermometer has been proven to have been wrong for a certain period in time, that bloody LLM still has the information,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it will keep pushing that into your system.
It has the context. What I learned from it, it keeps your each chat context with you. And when
Yeah,
the context conflict and you are on the 10th context, it will randomly pick whatever it feels correct. And we all know that it is trained on a generic taxonomies and ontologies, right?
yeah,
So the moment the hallucination, see, hallucination means a person who hallucinate, right? Means it does not carry context for a longer time. That's hallucination,
yeah, yeah,
English translation, right? So we have
yeah,
to.
and yeah. I don't propagate the idea that time is a timeline and that it is always moving forward or anything like that. But come on, sticking to information that is obsolete, that you have dropped five questions earlier or five prompts earlier. Please don't get back on that.
Right,
Yeah,
now coming back to our topic again, kind of
yeah,
data are fit for AI. Tell us more about it. Which kind of data is fit for AI?
yeah. That is the data that is containing the right context. And the big problem there is that you have to define what is right there. And if you decide on that, you also discard part of the context. Always.
Okay, you discard it. You mean okay?
Yeah, you have to put it aside.
What is?
Because
Yes.
yeah, what you don't see, you don't understand. So you will probably discard information that could be important. An example that I'd like to use is that two people from the sales department of a company are interested in what is happening with the sales information. The top manager is interested in how much have we sold. So any sales information that comes in but hasn't completed yet or never will or whatever is for him totally not interesting. So it's thrown away.
Hmm.
But the manager of the group that enters the sales data is very interested in understanding why some orders are started but never finalized and therefore never come to a sale.
Hmm.
And they are almost direct colleagues with a completely different way of looking at things.
Because you're
And that
right.
is,
Because the head only needs how much revenue came out
yeah,
until unless he is within the target, he don't care. But then
exactly.
they want to know that which leads has been missed out, which opportunities was dropped, what was the reason for the he needs everything.
And why did we spend time on entering this order whilst it couldn't be finalized anyway? So,
Of course, then marketing, how much marketing been done, what the impact was in marketing, marketing was converted, how many converted leads into the opportunity, and all those things
yeah,
that layer. So you're saying at different layers at the decision makers, different level of data is required.
yeah, yeah. And that, yeah, actually, I always get the impression that as soon as you start trying to measure or to get something out of a system, you also change it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which pretty much falls in the realm of uh, physics.
Okay.
There also, they say, if you measure, you change, which is quite interesting.
So you mean to say the moment you extract, if you take a minor change, it is already not good for any other person because any other person might need a different change, right?
Yeah,
So it
and
means the integration hub is a valuable thing.
yes, and I even integrating data is a moment where you change the data. So
Yeah.
it's a continuum, and with AI, you need to clean up your data.
Mm.
So it is extremely important to at least have a very good explanation of what you did cleaning the data. And
Uh,
if you create context using an LLM, you have to around your tabular data, you need to be very conscious of everything the LLM is not capturing. And the not capturing is the hardest part. It's easy to see what it does. It's not easy to see what it doesn't do.
and you are right. You give the same value, same content to LLM, it will generate 10 different outputs
Yeah,
and it won't be able to tell you what it has done. So transparency is zero when the data goes into the LLM world, right?
yeah,
I agree
yeah,
on. Okay, fair enough. Now, how to cope up these challenges? Because AI data scientists nowadays facing big challenges. I've talked to many people because
yeah,
last time what data scientists were doing is, hey, give us the data. Customer gave them data into CS, mostly CSVs and text format. They take 3 to 6 months, go into a sandbox. There's separate discussion happening between you and me. They go, they play over there for 6 months. They say, hey, we did 99 models and out of 99, 98 fails and one worked. The moment they take it to UAT production, that also fails. Right? Because in development data was different, in production data was different. So
yeah,
so because of this vibe coding and because of this Claude combination of AI, kids are able to do the same thing which data scientists were doing, right? Because they do not know what is happening. Even data scientists use it. They also do not know what is happening, right? What goes in, what goes out, nobody knows what is happening. But so how data scientists cope up this challenge?
yeah. I tend to say do your source criticism. So start with understanding what you are using and why it is valid for what you are trying to get out of your data.
Mm.
And that is something that very few people do. Uh, they just pick data and that's it. But
Mm.
really digging into what is the content and why it is the way it is not happening enough, and that is killing for getting the right information for the user for the user of your model. And indeed, you create a host of models. You find two or three that are valid with your analytic AI, and then two of the three are found to be too obvious to use. We already know that. So there's maybe one that is left to look into further, and maybe to productionalize.
Yeah. So, and after productionization, 3 months later, there's a data drift, there's a concept drift, and that is also rubbish. So
Yeah.
let's not do
let's let's hope that uh, there is a possibility that some of the coding of and so the research work, the work that is being done after you have the data, that can be sped up a bit by using code generation and things like that. That would already be great, because then you're closer to reality. 3 months is really huge
Hmm.
in terms of our current situation. Most of all, it's way too long to wait for, so you have to speed that up, and hopefully we can do that with some code generation and finding your data more easily. And for that, you can hopefully use the LLM to do some context generation around your tabular data, and to make your non-tabular data more accessible for tabular solutions.
Yeah. See, I really want to minus LLM from agentic AI world if you ask me, because LLMs are the one who is creating ambiguity, a question mark. Consider an agentic AI world using traditional AI, which was all successful. It
Yeah,
was all because there was less number of data scientists. There were not technologies which can rerun the whole CI, but all those things are already there. Consider LLM is out.
yeah.
Consider agents are there. They're finding they are finding correct algorithms to connect and create one model, finding the right data set, and
Mm-hmm.
then running it and rerunning it. And any drift comes, quickly come back, fix it, and run it again. So I think success can be much higher. What do you think?
Uh, I'm sure that analytic AI is far more valuable than
Yeah.
LLMs are, but never discard something that can help you. And one of the things that LLMs could do for us is combine the tabular data with the documentation we have created on it, and with that actually create an understandable story which the data scientists then can use to understand what he can use.
Hmm. I can challenge that, right? Because when we talk about combining structured data with unstructured, I have seen so many places, of course, by talking with a lot of industry experts. When we talk about LLM talking to the structured data, it has to be one or two tables, not a lot of joins, not a lengthy data. It has to be semantic data.
Yeah.
You find engineer feature table, it has feature table, then yes. But I think if if you end up creating a pipeline and creating a feature right at the end where everything already summarized, right, then data is already very small. I will go the other way around. I will say, use Bill and Mon. Let's market him as well. Use Bill and Mon tool to convert your structured data using the proper domain level taxonomy and ontology, convert into a table format,
Yeah.
and then join that and show it into the dashboard. I'm in that favor. I'm not the other way around.
I believe that the other way around also is interesting, if and only if you are able to limit the LLM to using the stuff that you have delivered to it. For in that case, it is possible to use documentation written inside your organization, and to use the data modeling basis, if you have that well designed,
Yeah.
to find your data. I have my last job. I had an organization was in an organization with millions of tables, let alone fields that could be useful. And by having an LLM searching for you, finding the combinations that could be valid, for instance, an order number which is represented in one tool with 3 zeros in front of it, because the tool requires it to have 12 numbers instead of 9, etc. That kind of stuff, finding that out in a fast way using an LLM should be possible.
Yeah, you are saying not complex queries, but searching.
No. You're not. No queries. Don't
Ah,
let it query. So
yeah.
only I would only use the LLM to find and suggest pathways for the analytical AI.
Now then I'm with you. Okay, we have a time check of 5 minutes. I think let's jump on to the last topic, which is very much critical and people are not thinking about it. Let me tell you. Data stewardship. I think when you talk about context, when you talk about quality, I think the key person or role is data stewardship.
Yeah, and what often is underestimated, in my opinion, is that the data steward should understand the data and make the data understandable, which is a word that we are not using enough,
Yeah,
because understandability of your data is everything. If you
exactly.
understand your data, you also know what data quality requirements are there for the data. If you understand that it is valid to have incomplete orders and that you need to be able to research the incompleteness of your orders, that is important.
Yes.
And if your data quality says, I see nil values, so this record can be discarded automatically, then you have destroyed information,
Yes.
and very important information. And that is the reason why data stewards are getting more and more important, actually. But data stewards are taking time, requiring time, and companies are in the confusion around AI, that AI will help them to speed things up and not do more on things like data quality and getting your data understandable. And it's impossible.
It's
It is
impossible.
more it is more important to have your data understandable than to have the information of where the data precisely sits. The technical metadata is nice to have, but usually findable, even if you haven't worked on it. But the understanding is not findable if it hasn't been written down by a human who understands what it is about and where in how far it can be used. That
Yeah.
is that's a real issue, I believe.
Yeah, this is the irony I see. Just a closing remarks that two roles which I feel can play a biggest role in next era, or rather now it become a current era, is data stewards who really understand the data and own the data.
Yeah,
And next is CDO role. CDO role is also overshadowed, right? And
yeah,
people are not putting attention onto these roles.
yeah. And one more, that is the person who writes documentation for both the models that are created by AI,
Hmm.
uh, analytic AI, and documentation for the software. That stays as important as it always was, and you have to keep that going. And that's all taking a lot of time.
Yes. Okay, awesome. I think we are spot on. We have reached our time limit. So thank you so much, Martin, for taking out time. And it is always pleasure to have people in your circle from where you can bounce ideas. So let's close this and then have a chat. Thank you so much, Martin. Let's close this podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Right.